Howdy guys, welcome back to the channel. You're watching another episode of Boco's Diesel Garage, or maybe I should call this What's Up Hotshot, because I will be working on my Hotshot truck today, and I have an interesting story to tell you guys on what happened to it, because one of my leaf springs broke and I will be replacing that today. It is cold out, I got the heater going on behind me. I'll be spending most of the day in here working on fixing
we
this.
got some new leaf springs right here that I picked up. I also have some new shocks. I'm just gonna replace everything while I'm at it, might as well. One of them broke, like I said. On the old ones there's one of the leaves in kind of in the middle that broke. It might have happened a while ago, or it might have just happened when I had a load on it that was heavier than the broker told me it was. So we'll get into that story in a little bit. I also just bought this for Christmas. I have heard lots of good reviews about the Dewald XR, that you can use this to take off tires and just about everything. It's got really good torque, so I'll be testing that out today on the repairs that I'm doing. So if you guys are interested in maybe picking up one of these, I'll let you know what I'll think about it. So yeah, we're gonna get started here, and before that I'll show you guys some background info on what happened and how this leaf spring broke. Alright, here's a little bit of a backstory on what happened, why I ended up being overloaded and the leaf spring broke. This is the very first parcel I picked up in Phoenix, Arizona. It is an excavator bucket attachment. It was only about 2,000 pounds, no problems there. I continued on to Los Angeles, where I picked up another load. That was a trash compactor. Here it is. It was 5,200 pounds. I pulled across the scales right after I picked this up, and that's exactly what it was. Here you can see it is loaded a little bit further to the back than I probably should have. Otherwise, no problems with that. We continued on to Sacramento, California, where I dropped off that excavator attachment, and then I continued north just a little bit further to some small little town where there was a lumber mill, where I picked up a load of lumber molding pieces. The broker told me it was going to be 4,000 pounds and 16 foot. So I picked that up. It was raining when I picked it up, so I had to tarp it real quick and get out of there. There were, unfortunately, here is this load. There were unfortunately no scales out there to get weight to make sure that what the broker told me was correct, because I never trust him, you never know. And sure enough, this ended up being overweight, but I didn't find out until I got into Oregon, because I didn't have to stop at any of the weigh stations in California, because all their signs say no pickups, so I didn't stop anywhere there. Then I got into Oregon, and there was a guy with an oversized load in front of me that went through the weigh station there, and DOT came out and looked at his trailer, and they found some loose straps and chains, so he told him to pull in, and they probably didn't pay much attention to me going right across the scales right after him. But I did notice I was at 27,200 pounds going across the scale there. This obviously is 1,200 pounds more, which meant this load of lumber actually weighed 6,000 pounds instead of 4,000 pounds. Now normally I would have never put a 6,000 pound load that far forward on the trailer. So maybe that is what led to the rear spring breaking, although I never heard anything along the way, and I never really noticed anything on that day. So I continued on. All the other weigh stations, they were either closed or I got the bypass, so no problems there. I delivered that load of lumber into towards Seattle area, somewhere south of Seattle, and then I continued on towards Montana with the trash compactor. And when I just had the trash compactor on the back of my trailer without another load in the front, it didn't ride very well. it was sitting back just a little too far, like I said earlier, to have it back that far without a load on the front. So it was bouncing up and down quite a bit, and that might have led to that leaf spring popping out. Maybe that it had broken earlier, or who knows, maybe it had broken months ago already. But from the ride being extra bouncy, that could have possibly been why it went out. I'm just really thankful it popped out towards the inside here. Here you can see the leaf spring sticking up instead of going out towards the tire. Alright, so here we are underneath the truck. As you can see, that is not what the leaf spring should look like. And you can look in here and see, let me shine the light on there, right there, where it broke off. So it came out of that middle section right now, right there, and it's hanging underneath here. So I might have broke a long time ago and just stayed in place and I never noticed it, and it just recently came off like it is right now, or it might have just broken. I don't know that for sure, but either way I'm gonna have to replace this. And it's never good to only replace one side, because then one side is gonna ride a little different than the other side, so you pretty much have to replace these in pairs. So I'll be doing both
so
sides.
one thing I wanted to check real quick is I've let all the air out of my airbags and still have the stock springs on there right now, leaf springs, and I want to check the right height. So from the bottom to right there is exactly 40 inches. It's the same on both sides. Now let's see if I can do this one-handed. See, look at that, they just come right off. I would have had to use a pry bar otherwise. Try and get them off by hand, or of course an air tool. Look at that, and the tire is already off the ground too, so that's pretty cool. And it's got a little light on it so you can see what you're doing. Pretty impressed with this so far. You can see it's already getting dirty. I think it's $250 well spent, but we'll keep using it and see how long the battery lasts. So we got the truck lifted up by the rear axle right there, and I was able to take the tires off on both sides. And then I put jack stands over here that will support the frame. So I think if I just let the jack, let the lift down right now, it should be supported here, and that will take the tension off the leaf springs here. And then I should be able to take them off. Working on taking the U-bolts off here. I wasn't able to use the impact on the back ones, so I'm using this extendable one, which works pretty well. Put some WD-40 on there, get the rusty bolts to come loose, and we're almost there. We got the U-bolts off, and I just dropped the axle down just a little bit more, and you can see it's completely separated. The leaf springs are completely separated. So only thing we got left to do right now is remove them from right here. There's that big bolt that's holding it in, one on each side. What I did here is use another jack to support the leaf spring, so I can go ahead and remove that bolt right there without the whole leaf spring falling down. And then on the other side it's still held in place, so we'll do one side here and then we can lower it to the ground and then do the other side. Right, we got the bolt off from the back side. I was up in here, and you can see this one came out a little ways, but it doesn't want to come out any further. It's not threaded in there, it just goes straight through. So I think I might have to try and take the bolt on the other side off first, and then maybe come back here to see if I can get it to come out. Here is the other side, but the dilemma I'm running in on this side is I got the impact on here, and it's just spinning this side, and there's nothing to stop it. You need a star bit to put in there, but there's no room. I can barely put my finger in between here in the frame, so that doesn't work. So I tried to put a vice grip on it to hold it, and that doesn't work. So I think I'm gonna have to take it out from the upper bolt right there, drop the whole thing,
instead of just loosening up the leaf spring here, because I can't get it to come out otherwise. So hopefully it will work from the top here. Alright, if you guys are wondering how the Dewald XR is doing, it is doing really well. So well, in fact, that it destroyed my socket. If I get it to focus, you see that? Well, I was trying to take that off right there. It broke. So that sucks. I don't know. I have another long one. I think I have a short one, but not a long one to go on here, and I need a long one for that. So that really sucks. I might have to go all the way to town. Probably a little over an hour drive one way, so just to get one. That sucks. So I had to make a trip to town, buy a new 15/16 socket. I got a high impact one here. This one should not be able to break like the other one did, hopefully. And by using that and getting a 15/16 wrench on the other end, I was able to get it out. You can see this nut broke off. It's supposed to have a little piece of metal on there that kind of holds it in place, but it sheared right off. So I had to use this. Thankfully I was able to get this wrench in there and get it off, and everything is loose right now. So the bolt on this side is out on the top there. You can't quite see it from here. And then on the other end, once I had this side out, I was able to pull the bolt out on the other end, no problem. So we got the old one on the bottom there and the new one laying on top. They seem to match up. It doesn't seem like it makes a difference how you put it in, like whether this side goes to the rear of the truck or to the front. It seems to be completely identical, and the two that I have, it doesn't seem to matter whether you put it on the right side or the left side. So I think that one is ready to go in. I have to put this bracket back on there. Once I was able to take it out, I was able to use this star bit right here to separate that from the old leaf spring. And now I just took out the spare tire so I could access the shock right here, and that one is almost ready to come out. And then I'll put the new shock in, and then put the new leaf springs in. So here's the new leaf spring. I am using this jack to just kind of roll it into place. Help me lift it up a little bit. It is really heavy, so it's gonna be hard to get it over the axle and in there. I can lower the axle a little bit actually. And you can see the new shock installed. This is the way you want to put it in. You want to make sure the skinnier side is on the bottom. If not, rain and dirt and debris can go in if the other side is on the top and there's nowhere for it to come out. So, but yeah, getting ready to put this in and then put everything back together. And then of course do the other side, but I probably won't film that because it's pretty much going to be the same as this side, except hopefully I won't break any bolts on that side and it'll go a little faster and easier. Alright, we finally got the new leaf spring in. All the bolts are tightened. I just got to put the U-bolts on still to secure it to the axle, but the bolts that hold the leaf springs to the vehicle are all in. Shocks are in. It was really hard to do it all by myself. Well, most of it was easy except getting that leaf spring to line up with getting them to line up in the holes and getting it onto the axle because it's super heavy. So that was really hard to do by myself. If you have some help, somebody else that can give you a hand if you have to do this, that would be really helpful. That would have sped up the process a great bit, but I was able to do it eventually. I did buy new leaf springs or new U-bolts to put on there, and unfortunately they're quite a bit longer than the old one. You can see the old one on top here, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna reuse the old ones, and I can probably bring these new ones back to the store I bought it from, and hopefully they'll give me some shorter ones and I can put those on some other time probably. And I could also cut them off, but it's always really hard not to mess up the threads when you cut them off, and I would rather just get some shorter ones later and just put these on for now. That should get me by. They aren't rusted too badly. I got new ones because I figured they were going to be rusted really badly and I might strip them trying to take them out, but they're actually still pretty decent, so I'll be able to get by for now. So yeah, that is pretty much it. I'll just have to do the same on the other side. Hopefully that goes a little faster and smoother. At least now I know exactly what I'm doing. And we got the right side done too. This side went a lot easier than the other side for some reason. I was able to line this one up, putting the new one in. That was no problem. Whereas on the other side it took me forever to try and get the bolts in. So I'm glad we got it all done. All I have left to do now is put the tires back on. On this side I had to take the exhaust off to be able to fit everything. But that wasn't too hard, so yeah, just gonna put the tires back on and then we should be all good to go. Alright, the tires are back on. Everything is finished and put back together. And I'm just checking the right height right now with the new heavy duty springs, and it looks like we gained 1.5 inches. We were at 40 before and we are at 41.5 right now. So here are the old leaf springs. You can see the broken one. You can see it really well. It's just sticking out right there, and you can see right there is where it broke off and it came out. And thankfully it went to the outside and didn't puncture my tire or anything. I think I got really lucky with that. The strange thing about it is I never actually noticed anything. I just happened to discover it on my pre-trip. So that's another good reason to always do a pre-trip and post-trip inspection, because you never know what you might find. I never heard a bang or anything. So yeah, that's it. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I'm glad I was able to do this repair at home in my own shop instead of having to pay someone for it, because if I had been, you know, really far away from home, I would have had to get it fixed somewhere else. It probably would have took a very long time to find the parts too. I had to call around to lots of different places before I found a place that had the springs in stock. First I called the dealer and they actually quoted me $900 just for one spring, so $900 per site. And eventually I was able to find a place that sells just springs basically. And other suspension components. They specialize in just that, and they charged me $500 a piece, so for $1,000 I was able to get both sides plus another $100 for some new U-bolts and a couple other miscellaneous things, and then $100 or just over $100 for the shocks. So for about $1,200 I was able to get all of this fixed. And if I had to get it done somewhere at the dealer or who knows where, probably, you know, would have costed me, at the dealer probably would have cost me close to $3,000, somewhere else probably around $2,000. So saved quite a bit of money there doing it yourself. And if you're thinking about getting started in hotshot trucking and you're using an older truck, then I would highly recommend that you have at least a little place somewhere that you can work on it yourself, because otherwise, you know, you're gonna have stuff happen all the time and that's just gonna cost you way too much money to be able to still be profitable. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I got this finished on the weekend just in time. I already have a load on my trailer waiting for me that I have to go deliver tomorrow, so I'm glad I got this all finished. And yeah, hope you guys found the video enjoyable, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Alright, one more thing, since I was doing a review on this Dewald XR impact driver, it has really helped me out a great bet on doing this job. I'm not even sure I could have done it without. I do like it a lot better than an air impact, simply because, you know, it is completely hands free, and you know, you're not stuck with an air hose coming out of the back, so you can get into spots where you otherwise, you know, it's a little harder to get to. So that helps. And then that seemed to have, you know, it seems to be just as strong as an air impact, and it's a lot quieter than an air impact. So, and I was able to do all of this just on one battery charge. I didn't have to charge it while doing the job. I was able to get everything done, took all the tires off and all the bolts and the leaf springs and everything, U-bolts, everything. So it worked really well, really happy I bought it. I'd seen a bunch of reviews from other people that had bought one of these, and everyone had great things to say about it. It sounds like it can actually keep up with, you know, a professional air tool that automotive shops use. So really happy about it. I'm probably gonna throw it in my truck and just keep it with me when I'm on the road too, just in case I have to change out the tire or something, because it just makes it super easy and fast to do. So yeah, that will this time wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, let me know what else you guys would like to see a video about, hotshot trucking related. And yeah, you guys have a good week. Thanks for watching.